let's talk a little bit about dark rides and their history. It seems they're thrilling, but they're thrilling in a different way than maybe a roller coaster would be. You're scared of more on what's inside of the ride than the loops and whatever have you. So recently in Collectors Weekly, they spoke to a dark ride aficionado about the history of dark rides.
Yeah, for those of you who might not know at home, dark rides are referring to those big, like, haunted house type, not so much roller coaster or bumper ride or log flume type of things, but you get in the cart, it wheels you through, you see all kinds of scary stuff, and then the cart comes out empty.
Yeah.
Is typically what happens.
Spooky.
Those are the rides we're talking about, yes, very spooky.
So they have a long storied history, mostly beginning from those sawmill rides.
Yes, they started as what is essentially a tunnel of love.
Yeah, mostly for making out and some scares, but mostly making out. But those had kind of fallen out of favor because they're hard to maintain, especially back in the day,
where
the
they
early
were
days.
all flume related.
Yes.
It was a wooden trough with water and a boat that went through them.
So they moved on to something called the pretzel ride. It was only called pretzel because they didn't want to name it Firefly because they didn't want people to, that's the name a little girl had chosen for the ride, and people didn't want to think, hey, this will light on fire. More on fire later. So then at that point they decided, let's make a little cart, a bumper car essentially, go around
on a track.
On a little track, automated little jumps and scares, which evolved over time as well.
Now at this point, these rides were in complete and total darkness. Once you go into the house, there was nothing to see. It was all just audio.
Yeah, this is in the 1920s, so they had to like knock over things to make sounds and kind of manufacture them on their own. But as time went on, like in the 60s, 70s, they moved from records to even 8-tracks, but of course the sounds on those wore out over time from constant stop and play, rewind, repeat, etc.
What I took out of this article, it was cool how they did this before like robots and animatronics and electrical servos and whatnot. It was just the cart would run over a little lever, and that lever would like hit pots and pans, or that lever would knock over a box of ball bearings and ring bells and
That's
made it sound
how it was
like,
back in the 20s.
Yeah, breaking glass, and there was one that made it sound like the cart was derailing, and it came with like a little jump in the track, which was cool. These have sort of fallen out of favor for the most part.
Well, you know, there are well-made ones like Disneyland's Haunted Mansion ride, which contain animatronics and holograms and a lot of air pressure.
And I think real ghosts.
No.
I think there are some real ghosts in there.
I don't think those are
somewhere.
actual things.
No.
I don't believe in ghosts. But so they have fallen out of favor because of a fire in 1984.
In New Jersey.
In New Jersey, which is your side of the country. And what happened was people had been trapped inside, and 8 teenagers died inside of one of these dark rides. So they kind of, even though it is possible to install safety measures, they've fallen out of favor, except for the more high-tech ones.
Right.
Which you do kind of feel scared of those things when you go in them, like at maybe a traveling carnival. I do feel a little bit like this could light on fire or break down at any moment.
Yeah, but I sort of feel that about like all of the rides.
Yeah.
Like anything where like 50 people are inside of it and it's spinning and we're pressed against the wall, or like those little roller coasters that are just meant to like shake you up, like going around the corners real fast. Like people die on those too. It's the point of a carnival. That's where the scare factor is.
That's
you
the
could
true.
Really die.
That's the true scary part of those rides. But it's true of a lot of those rides.